Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of PSLE Maths Secrets Review. In today's episode, we're going to explore how we can solve this very interesting fractions question in less than 2 minutes. So if you'd like to know how to solve this question, you'd like to know the secret to this question, stay with me all the way till the end and you'll be able to find out the answer for yourself. So without further ado, let's just do a quick deep dive together and annotate the question. Joan, Siti and Siu Li had 60 bits each. Joan gave 2/5 of her bits to Siu Li. So as we know, the denominator 5 is actually the total for Joan. And numerator 2 suggests that Siu Li received 2 units. Siti gave some of her bits to Siu Li. And because of that, eventually Siu Li had 3 times the total of the remaining Joan and Siti. This means that Siu Li 3 parts, Joan and Siti eventually is 1 part. And the question is asking us how many bits did Siti give to Siu Li. So for a question like this, to solve it efficiently, I will actually make use of the ratio table. Very simple. So J for Joan, S for Siti, XL for Siu Li, and I have a total. So I'll just try to draw my table nice and clear for everyone to see. And at the very start, I shall call it before. Let me just write it carefully for everyone. So before. So at the very start, we can state that Joan had 5 units due to the denominator 5. Then based on the changes, Joan gave 2 units to Siu Li. So for Joan, minus 2 units, Siu Li received the 2 units that belong to Joan. And it said that Siti gave some bits to Siu Li as well, alright? But as of now, we do not know what's going on. We just leave it blank for now. So before, change after. And in the end, Joan is left with 3 units of bits. And they say that Siu Li is 3 times the total of the remaining bits Joan and Siti had. This will actually mean that in the end, Siu Li is 3 parts. Joan and Siti adds up to 1 part. And what I like about a question like this, given that Joan, Siti and Siu Li, they all had 60 bits at first, this would mean that the total at the start is 180. And because of all the internal transfer that happened between the 3 girls, in the end, it is still going to be 180 total bits amongst the 3 girls. Alright? So what goes on next? I have to make sense. I have to make sense out of the question. So given that they all had 60 bits, I shall include that in my ratio table. Okay? So if Joan had 60 bits as well, 5 units has to represent 62. So 5 units, if 5 units represented by 60 for Joan, naturally to find the 1 unit, I will just need to take 60 divided by 5. And this will get me to 12. And this means that for the 2 units that was given to Siu Li, okay, whereby Joan gave 2/5 of her bits to Siu Li, Siu Li actually received 12 times 2, 24 bits. Okay, 24 bits. And it will indicate that in the end, Joan is left with 36 bits because 12 times 3 is 36. So eventually, Joan is left with 36 bits. And the interesting thing about a question like this, since the start and the end both are equal to 180, and it's mentioned that Siu Li had 3 times the total of the remaining bits of Joan and Siti, this will actually mean that I can also list down 4 parts Okay, 4 parts to be the total of 180. And this will mean that 1 part will be 180 divided by 4. If I were to do my long division, 180 divided by 4, this will lead me to 45. Because 180 divided by 2 is 90, if I were to continue dividing it by 9, if I were to continue dividing 90 by 2, I will eventually arrive at 45. Alright? So this will mean that if 1 part is 45, I have already found out that CT's bits in the end is actually has to be 9. Because 36 plus 9 give us 45. 45 minus 36 give us 9. So 45, if I subtract away 36, that belongs to Joan in the end, I will be able to get 9. And if that's the case, how many bits did CT give to Siu Li? The question is, or rather the answer that we're looking out for, the final equation, the final step will be 60 minus away 9, 60 subtract 9, and that will get us to 51. Okay, so 60 minus 51 leads us to 9. And if I want to check my work, alright, 2 units that came from Joan must be equals to plus 24. Alright, and not just that, CT gave some bits to Siu Li, which explains why eventually she's left with 9, right? So that means that Siu Li also received this 51 from CT. So not only plus 24, there's also a plus 51, an addition of 51 that came from CT. And since 1 part in the end, right, is 45, now we are doing our checking. Okay, we are doing our checking. We've already found the answer. The answer is none other than option 3, which is 51 bits given by CT. But I would like to check my answer because I want to be very certain that my answer is correct in the exam. So checking time. If 1 part is 45, 3 parts, Siu Li in the end, what would that be? 45 multiplied by 3. If I work it out, I'll get 135 because 45 times 3 is the same as 90 plus 45, 135. That means that if 3 parts is 135, I just got to ensure that everything adds up to 135. So 60, which is Siu Li at first, right? 60 plus 24, I add 24, I get 84. 84, I go for another 51. So lo and behold, if I were to add up 84 plus 51, this will get me to 135. Okay, so let me just do the working. 84, if I add 51, 4 plus 1 is 5, 8 plus 5 is 13. So everything checks out. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video or you got anything out of it whatsoever, please hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Also comment below, let us know where you guys are tuning from. That's always good to know. And finally, if you are new to this channel and you haven't already, remember, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications button. There's a little bell sign by the way. Because this year we are committed to making weekly videos to hold you accountable and to make this your best year in mathematics. But for now, this is Teacher Ray signing off. Bye bye!